And we're back, and boy, if you've not seen Notorious before, and you've been watching all these Hitchcock movies in a row, what must you be thinking right now? We love this movie, and it's fantastic for us to have seen them all in order. We have seen them all before, and see all the culmination of all the developments and all the plot movies and all the, the strife, and this is just tremendous. We absolutely love this movie. We just love seeing it. It's one of Diane's favorites. I think it's my favorite movie so far, and I used to say that about 39 Steps, but now I think, and I loved Rebecca, but I think this is it for me. So yeah, we're really glad it wasn't a David O. Selznick picture. This is what happens when the guy is allowed to do his own thing. And just a quick word about David O. Selznick. The movie he was too busy dealing with was Duel in the Sun, also from 1946, and it's worth checking out. As an example, though, it had 7 different directors, including David O. Selznick. So, that's one of the reasons that Alfred Hitchcock couldn't work with this guy. Can you imagine? He fired all these directors and had 7 different people work on Duel in the Sun, and whatever. So. But after this movie, now we're finished with Nazis, and we're done with spies for a little while. No, we're not done with spies. We love lots of spies, but this is it for Nazis. So and we just want to talk about the performances of Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman and Claude Rains. This was a home run. This was a grand slam as far as casting goes. Alfred Hitchcock rarely gets the people he wants. The movies that we've seen, the movies we're about to see, this is one of those rare moments where he got exactly who he wanted, and we're so grateful that he did, especially Ingrid Bergman. She does everything right in this movie. She plays the perfect drunk, and in some of the movies we've seen from in the 40s, we've seen lots of drunks, and they're playing drunk. Her drunk was perfect. She plays sick. Her sick was perfect. It was understated. So really good. Amazing. So you saw that there's basically there's lots of neat shots in this one. The one with the big long kiss, that was one long take of 3 minutes, and no kiss, no lip on lip action more than 3 seconds because they had to get it past the censors. But really just a touching scene. If there's any doubt that they love each other, there's none. So the great shot where we're focusing in on the key in Alicia's hand, well, that had to bring back memories of Young and Innocent, absolutely. So yeah, now, what's that? Oh, the coffee cup. Yeah, just a great shot. When we find out that they're going to poison her, how do we find out? Well, we focus on the coffee cup, and we all get it. They keep focusing on the cup, and there's that one conversation where all you see is the coffee cup in the way. Excellent work. Also, no music in that final scene, when they're walking down the stairs. Just fantastic. The music was definitely very subtle in this movie. A lot of times it was just, not every time, but a lot of times it was just ambient music, whatever's playing in the background, be it at that big party or where they're out in a cafe in Rio. Last week's movie Spellbound, some of the comments we got, and we agree, the music was obtrusive. This wasn't that. No music in that final scene going down the stairs. Also, if you recall in Saboteur with Fry on the Statue of Liberty, there was no music in that, and it's just fantastic. There's going to be lots of moments, lots of suspenseful moments in movies to come where there's no music. Speaking of the staircase, how about the fact in Cary Grant's first Hitchcock movie where he's walking up the stairs with a poisoned glass of milk, and almost like because we know he was supposed to be the bad guy in that film. And how about him walking down the stairs with Alicia, same with a poisoned girl? I mean, just fantastic to have seen all that. And with Sebastian and when Claude Rains isn't saying anything and the suspense was built, the mother was just fantastic. And who's the real villain in this? Was it Sebastian? Was it Claude Rains? I mean, he's a very sympathetic villain. Really, it's his mother, and what a performance by her. Constantine, I forget her name. This was her only American film, and she was something in this one. So, but yeah, we've talked about charming villains before. This was truly a sympathetic villain. We don't really feel sorry for Claude Rains as he's being called back, certainly into his house to his death. They're going to kill him. But that's the way to do a movie where the bad guy is not necessarily just this obvious bad guy. So So yeah, we as you can tell, we just love this one. We saw the mothership of champagne glasses. We always love those little champagne. In fact, I think when we first mentioned these champagne glasses way back a long time ago, it was probably this clip we showed of Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. But you gotta love those little champagne glasses, and we want to get some feedback on this. In all these old movies, all the Cary Grant movies, you know, you've got someone drinking champagne out of these sort of wider glasses. We always want to get some. So if anyone out there has an experience with those glasses, we'd love to hear what you have to say about it. But we're also seeing just the finest example of a MacGuffin, and we've not talked about the MacGuffin for a number of shows now, but this that we have to mention in this one. This is a classic example of them writing the uranium ore into it. What's a MacGuffin again? Well, it's the plot device that drives the plot. But neither the director nor the audience really cares. I mean, do you care? Do you find out what happened with the uranium or what they were doing with it? No, you don't care. Hitchcock used uranium. They just thought it would be interesting. It could have been diamonds. It could have been anything. In later movies, it'll be the papers, or you know, it's always something that just drives the plot. The interesting thing about uranium ore being the MacGuffin, though, was the timing was perfect, because just as they were starting production on this was the moment in time when Japan was was bombed with the 2 atomic bombs that were dropped, and bringing uranium right into the focus. In fact, there's stories about Hitchcock when he was visiting with a Caltech professor learning about uranium to put in this movie. The Caltech professor says, you're going to be in big trouble if you talk about this. This is very, very secret, because at that time it was still being developed and it was very, very secret. Hitchcock liked to say afterwards that he was followed by the CIA for 6 months afterwards, and that may or may not be true, but it sure makes a good story. So a great point of view shot where Claude Rains is spotting Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman through the crowd. That reminded me of The Manxman with Philip and Pete, and when Philip was looking through the crowd and seeing Pete talk to Annie Andre's character. That was a long time ago, The Manxman, remember that? But we still have these point of view shots when Alicia's sick and when she's she's fading and all that sort of thing. So definitely fantastic. So yeah, we had our cameo. That was a good one. About an hour in, I clocked it at an hour, 4 minutes and 40 seconds if you need to go back to see it. Right about the time when Hitchcock starts in the 50s, starts to have his TV show, and then he became instantly recognizable. That was the moment when he started to put the cameo in at the beginning of the films all the time, because he felt it was too distracting for audiences. I said that a long time ago, but we're noticing it's an hour in. Well, nobody was that distracted, but by the time we get to the movies when he was a household name, he got those cameos out of the way in the first few minutes, and we'll definitely see that. With last week's Spellbound, one of the reasons that movie didn't quite work for me, although some of our viewers really liked it, it just seemed really dated, and is it watchable today? Well, for me, Notorious is timeless. It's just fabulous. There's nothing in it that seems dated or quaint. Maybe a few things here and there, but nothing like last week's movie, which is interesting because ultimately it was written by the same people, Alfred Hitchcock, Ben Hecht, and starring Ingrid Bergman. So that's very interesting. I liked one of our favorite quotes was when the mother says, don't worry, we're protected by the enormity of your stupidity. We thought that was a great line. So yeah, love the movie. We've got a book that talks about every year of the Oscars and what won Best Picture and Director, Actor, and has pictures, tells what happened at the Oscars, and who did what at the actual event, and it's very, very good. And one of the sections in each year is called Sins of Omission, and we've been noticing pretty much every year, not every year, but pretty much every year, the Sins of Omission are director Alfred Hitchcock and the movie he was doing. And I have to say, this is a travesty that this was not nominated for Best Picture in 1946. I could list some of the movies that were, and wow, this one wasn't. So that's definitely, and it's in the book as a sin of omission. Which isn't to say, though, that the picture that did win Best Movie of 1946 shouldn't have. It's a movie called The Best Years of Our Lives. And if you've not seen the movie The Best Years of Our Lives, and boy, I hadn't until a few years ago because they don't play it on TV for some reason, it is excellent. It is a post-World War II movie, kind of like Spellbound, not really. And it's very, very good, and among other things, and I'm not going to give anything away because you might watch it, but there is a scene in the movie towards the end of The Happiest Years of Our Lives, or The Best Years of Our Lives, that is just unbelievably good. So boy, do we love that movie. One of Diane's absolute favorite movies is It's a Wonderful Life, and we've managed to mention it every second week for the last 8 months, but that was released in 1946. And another really good movie that we watched a few days ago called The Razor's Edge, with Tyrone Power and what's her name? Gene Tierney, right. Tyrone Power, Gene Tierney, and Ann Baxter, who we'll see in I Confess.
And Herbert Marshall.
And Herbert Marshall's in it, who we saw in Murder and Foreign Correspondent. And we'll see Ann Baxter in I Confess. And boy, is The Razor's Edge a really good movie. So anyways, good. So that was great. I'd actually watch Notorious again right now. I really liked it. So we'll see. If you liked it too, let us know. And see if we're all on the same page. So good. So we're done with 1946. Great year for Alfred Hitchcock. We're on to 1947 for next week for the Gregory Peck movie called The Paradine Case from 1947, and the last we'll hear from David O. Selznick. Well, that's not true. We'll hear from him one way or another in the future. So good. So we're done. So thanks for watching with us. We look forward to your comments. We love them as always. And so from our couch to yours, we will see you next week.